"What do you think you're doing?" An aggressive voice rang out behind me. It was the local sheriff, Fred, Henry's brother. He stormed toward me, furious, pulling a report from his pocket. Before I could even explain myself, he started yelling. He said he had already told the feds on the phone that we had the wrong kid. He demanded to know why I was snooping around the window and harassing his brother's family over a nephew who had been dead and buried for 32 years. I tried to interject, but he wouldn't listen, at least not until he looked past me.
Uncle Fred.
Only a few feet away. The shock paralyzed him the same way it had paralyzed Henry, but we didn't have much time to deal with that reaction. At that exact moment, the toy slipped from Jacob's hand. The boy collapsed to the ground and started shaking violently. We rushed him to the hospital, where he was treated by Fred's daughter, Maggie, the boy's own cousin.
I'm just gonna check your heartbeat real quick, okay? You all right?
Well, like my Aunt Barbara. Did you know her? I tried to help her. I tried, but I slipped and I fell in.
Did somebody tell you this story?
Who was now the town doc. While the family stayed with Jacob, I joined Maggie to dig through the records. We needed to read the files from 32 years ago regarding the accidental deaths of Jacob and his aunt, Barbara, Maggie's mother, in the river. Things were getting weirder by the minute. Later, after Jacob snuck out of the hospital and was found digging up an old toy in the yard, Maggie and I went to confront him at the Langston house. Jacob told us his version of the accident. He said he was heading to the river when he heard a baby crying. It was his cousin Maggie, left in her stroller. That's when he heard cries for help and saw his Aunt Barbara clinging to a log in the raging current. Jacob tried to save his aunt, not the other way around, as the family had always believed. He also mentioned a man who was there and tried to pull Barbara from the water right before Jacob himself slipped, fell into the water, hit his head, and blacked out. Despite Jacob's detailed story, Maggie was still skeptical. As a medical professional, she found the whole situation impossible. It simply didn't make any scientific sense. Determined to uncover the truth and prove that this boy couldn't possibly be her deceased cousin, she had collected DNA swabs from Jacob, Henry, and Lucille at the hospital and ordered an expedited paternity test. However, when the results came back, they defied all logic. The DNA proved he really was Henry and Lucille's son. With the positive paternity test results in hand, I found Henry at the cemetery. I told him what we had discovered and showed him the lab report, but he still refused to accept it. He had buried his son with his own hands in that very plot of land. I knew there was only one way to physically prove the truth to him. We needed to open Jacob's coffin. I asked Maggie to help me convince Henry, but it was no use. I went to the local courthouse the next day to request the exhumation paperwork. I was intercepted by Fred. He had already spoken to the judge and made sure I wouldn't get the order. To make matters worse, he insulted me, calling me a desk jock. I wasn't going to give up. I was a federal agent. That same night, at a restaurant, I called my superior and she agreed to get me the paperwork by the next day. As luck would have it, Maggie was at the same restaurant with a friend named Elaine. I saw Elaine answer her phone and heard the hysterical screams of her brother Ray on the other end of the line, saying he was seeing the devil. I ran over to Maggie to find out what was going on and jumped in the car with them. We arrived at the property and found Ray completely unhinged. He was armed, with his dog by his side, screaming threats at a small wooden shed.
Show yourself!
Just put the gun
Come
down!
out! Hey, come out now!
We yelled for him to put the gun down. Slowly, the door to the shed opened. A man wearing a hat stepped out from the shadows. He took his hat off slowly, and when the light finally revealed his face, we all froze. It wasn't the devil.
Dad.
It was Caleb Richards Ray and Elaine's deceased father. Jacob wasn't the only one coming back from the dead.